The Browns just shook the NFL. A team that was written off, laughed at, and counted out went toe-to-toe with the Super Bowl favorite and left the field with the win. No trick plays, no lucky breaks, just a raw, ugly fight that ended with Cleveland standing taller than anyone thought possible. This was not the same old Browns. Every snap looked like the game could slip away, but the defense refused to bend and the players refused to quit. The Packers had chances to bury them, but instead Cleveland turned those mistakes into momentum. What looked like another long night became the kind of victory that turns heads across the league. Fans have seen this story go the other way too many times, but not tonight. This was the shock that nobody saw coming, a moment that tells every rival team the Browns are not here to roll over. They may not be perfect, but they just proved they can punch with the heavyweights, and the moment that flipped the whole game is what we turn to next. Don't forget to subscribe to Red Zone Report for more powerful NFL stories. One single mistake turned everything upside down. Jordan Love forced a throw that had no business leading his hand, and the Browns' defense pounced. The return set up the short field Cleveland had been begging for all night, and suddenly a game that looked lost had life again. The momentum flipped in an instant. Quinshon Judkins powered his way into the end zone to tie it up, proving that one crack in the wall was all this team needed. The stadium went quiet on one side and electric on the other as belief spread through every Browns player on the field. Then came the final dagger, a 55-yard kick drilled straight through the uprights. It was cold, clean, and brutal, the type of finish that takes the breath out of a contender. In the span of minutes, the Browns turned doubt into shock and shock into a win that will be remembered all season long. The backbone of this win was the defense, and they played with fire from start to finish. Myles Garrett crashed through the line like it was his personal playground, forcing the Packers to rush throws and abandon their rhythm. Every snap looked like a battle they couldn't control, and Cleveland's front made sure of it. Behind that pressure, the secondary locked in. Denzel Ward shadowed receivers with ease, while Carson Swiniger made key stops that stalled drives before they could even develop. Each hit and each swat at the ball sent a clear message. Green Bay was not going to find comfort anywhere on the field. And guiding it all was Jim Schwartz, whose plan turned a tough matchup into a showcase of strength. He makes looks, forced mistakes, and made the Packers play on Cleveland's terms. It wasn't just a strong showing. It was proof this defense can drag the Browns into any fight and give them a real chance to walk out winners. While the defense set the tone, the offense nearly threw it all away. For 3 quarters, Cleveland could not move the ball, stuck in short drives that ended without points. Every possession felt like a missed chance, and frustration grew as the game stayed tight. Joe Flacco carried the load, but his age showed. The arm strength was there in moments, yet the lack of mobility and slow decision-making turned simple plays into struggles. It wasn't just him either. The rhythm never clicked, and the unit looked one step behind the Packers' defense. Play calling did not help. Inside the red zone, chances were wasted with complicated sets that went nowhere. Instead of taking control, the Browns' offense left the door open again and again. And with the fan base already restless, it raised a bigger question. If not Flacco, then who? As the offense continued to stall, talk of the future grew louder. Fans watching from home and in the stands began calling for a change, hoping to see one of the young quarterbacks step in. Names like Dylan Gabriel and Shedeur Sanders carry excitement, and many believe their energy could breathe life into a flat attack. The problem is timing. Throwing a rookie into the fire this early could do more harm than good, especially with the offensive line struggling to keep the pocket steady. A bad start could crush confidence and slow their growth before he even begins. Still, the pressure builds each week Flacco struggles. The crowd wants a spark, and coaches have to decide whether patience or boldness serves the team better. The choice will not just shape the season, it could decide how the Browns build their future behind center. The box score tells the story just as clearly as the eye test. Joe Flacco finished with over 30 attempts but barely cracked 140 yards and added a costly interception. It was the kind of stat line that says he survived the game but never controlled it. On the ground, Quinshon Judkins proved to be the bright spot. Close to 100 rushing yards and a touchdown gave Cleveland the only steady rhythm they could trust. Every tough carry kept the clock moving and showed that he can handle being the lead back when the offense has nothing else working. The passing attack was another concern. David Njoku led in catches, but receivers like Jerry Jeudy and Cedric Tillman faded when the team needed big plays. Against top defenses, that lack of production will get exposed, and unless someone steps up, the Browns will keep leaning on their defense to mask the weakness. This win stirred up a new debate among fans. Some want the Browns to fight for every game, chase momentum, and see how far the defense can carry them. Others argue that piling up a few wins only hurts the bigger picture. Losing could mean landing the draft picks that reshape the future. It's the kind of split that shows how uncertain this season really is. A push for the playoffs sounds exciting, but it risks leaving the team stuck in the middle of the pack. Too good for top draft slots, but not good enough to truly compete.
That is the nightmare zone for a rebuilding franchise. Still, knocking off the Packers changes how the locker room feels. Players and coaches aren't thinking about draft boards, they're chasing belief. For them, every win builds trust, and even one upset can shift the way an entire season is remembered. When the final whistle blew, the scene felt unreal. A franchise known for heartbreak had just beaten a team many picked for the Super Bowl. Fans were stunned, players were emotional, and the city finally had a reason to celebrate on a stage where hope usually fades. The defense carried the spotlight, but the bigger story was the pride it gave the fan base. For once, Cleveland could hold its head high after a game that mattered. It wasn't luck, it wasn't sloppy fortune, it was toughness, execution, and a will to fight until the last second. Of course, concerns remain. Injuries and cramping showed up, and the offense still has plenty of problems to fix. But none of that took away from the moment. This was the type of win that builds identity, and it leaves everyone wondering how much further this team can push when nobody expects them to. Blessings to all my Red Zone Report subscriber family. Your support means everything. Stay tuned, stay sharp, and I'll catch you in the next one.